Stampers. Oh my goodness. I'm just not centered. Hey, so it is the 17th of November. I am sleepy today. I don't know why. I had a really good sleep. And let's see if I can get this up here. Oh, I just got off. Okay, so those who don't know me, my name is Sonia Bernard. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator with Links by Ink. And for those who do know me, thanks for coming back and checking out my video. So today I'm not doing a mini card class. I'm actually going to show you how to do this fun magic box. Now this is in no way my creation at all, because this is beyond me. But I found this by perusing Pinterest, and it was on Frenchy Stamps, I think, and she did this tutorial. So for on stage, for my friends that were meeting me there, I made them this little box, on stage box, and the magic part on this is they open it, and then, oh look, they get some chocolates. These fit Ghirardelli chocolates. They also fit nuggets. I'm trying to get it out the wrong side. They also fit rolled up notes. It's a little paper hug from me. But there's 4 chocolates in this box. Wait, what? No, there's not. Wait a second. What is that? Oh, it is another 2 chocolates. Okay, are we seeing how that works? So it's closed. They open it one way. Oh, gosh, I'm terrible with this camera. Open it one way, but then flip it open this way. What? See how that is? So you can see you've actually got 2 boxes, one here and one here. And this little mechanism that we're going to create is what covers it. As you press it down and lift up the other side, then it's just covering up that box there. See? Open box, closed box. Okay, I'm going to turn this down because it would just be easier to show you everything. There are a lot of measurements with this, so I have put them all in the details. And if you get confused by anything, just shoot me a message. G'day, how you doing, Anne? All the way from Australia. Good to see you. Okay, or see you. You know what I mean. Okay, let's turn this down and let's get started. There's a lot of measurements. You can write them down if you like. However, like I said, they are in the description. And I was trying not to get some glare today, but I really do miss my lighting. So this one I did, and let me just try to get my, okay, I'm about in the right spot. This one, instead of obviously putting the on stage, we don't want to give that to anybody. I just thought, let's make it simple. So lucky to call you friend, and have these little flowers tie in with the box. And you can see the on stage label. This is where I pulled the colors from. So you can do these in any colors. They don't pack well. Let me just tell you, don't put them in a bag and take them off to on stage, because the corners, you know, it's just paper, it's just cardstock. So if you're going to pack them, maybe wrap them in something where you can, I didn't wrap mine in anything. I literally threw them in a bag and went. I was so busy. Okay, so belly band just comes off, and there's space for this one, and then space for that one. So if I've got it up the right way, this way, and this way. Isn't that fun? I like it. Christmas would be a great time. You could put little goodies in there. Okay, let's start. We need, so for the actual 2 little boxes that we're going to make, which is these 2 parts here, they're actual little boxes, and gosh, I hope I can remember how to do this. We've got the layers are 4.5 by 5 1/4, and you've got 2 pieces of them, and you need to score them. So we're going to need our trusty scoring tool, and on the longer edge, which is if you put it up here, Let me make sure this is in frame. Let me bring that down a little bit. Okay, so if you put it up here, you can tell that this is the 5 1/4 length. So we want to score this at 5/8. And now each of these score lines is 1/8. So that from one score line to the next is an 1/8, and it does have these little tabs here. So, you know, that goes 1/2 inch and then an 1/8 right there. Okay, let me see. Let's not get this wrong. So score at 5/8, 1 1/4, and then 4 1/8. I'm just double checking because I don't want to have to cut this twice. Oh, see, I almost made a boo-boo. 4, that's not 4 1/8. Sorry, that's 4 and 4 5/8. Let's just see them again. We've got 5/8, 1 1/4, 4 and 4 5/8. Okay, then we're gonna do both of them actually, and I do it rather deep. I tried doing this on my paper trimmer. You don't want to do it on the paper trimmer because it doesn't score as deep. Okay, so use your score tool. Then we're going to flip it and we're going to go at 5/8. So, and 1 1/4, which is exactly where we were. But then we want to bring it down a little bit and we want to go 3 1/4. And we want to go 3 7/8. So there's 3 1/2, 5, 6, 7 right there. And we'll score that down here. Now, probably the hardest part to do this is the part that I didn't bring a template for. And that's when you got to cut this box. So hopefully I don't goof this up. I am going by memory. And I think I got it done. There's a lot happened in this last couple of weeks. So we'll see what happens. See if I goof it or not. So normally when I make a box, it's just like one line, but the reason we're doing 2 is because this is actually going to fold in on itself and make your box a lot sturdier. So we're going to score all these lines. Oh, score, burnish. Let's get the technical terms right. And I like to do it before I cut. I want it all done. I'm literally just using the table in the condo right now. I forgot my little mat. That's okay. So there's one. And that will make the paper more pliable, as you can see. And let's quickly do it with this one. I'm actually doing it the wrong way. You're supposed to score into the bump. That's all good. Just do it this way real quick. I'm trying to be quick too, because this is rather, it's not quick, put it that way. But I'll try to make it quick without making a boo-boo. So, we're almost there. Okay, so going from memory, let's see how bad I can mess this up. I wanted the short sides. So this is a shorter side. And we want to keep a tab. Okay, I think I got it. So go in the shorter side, cut there, cut there, cut here, cut here. Okay, so you can see I cut down. This is the shorter side, so I've got this flap because this is going to fold in on itself. Same with this side. And if you get stuck, you're going, okay, I need to glue this side to that side, so I need this little square right here. And if you're like, oh no, am I gonna remember which one I need? You can always put a little pencil mark on it like this, and then just erase that later. Okay, so we know we need to keep this little tab. That's probably the best way to do it right there, so you're not gonna mess that up. And then you're just using these score lines to cut down and leave that little tab like so. And then if you've got that little edge, you do just want to make a tiny little sliver, like a little V there. Get the score line out of there. Okay, so we got to do that on all of these. This is why it's going to take a minute, because I'm trying to go from scratch. Plus you have to cut this all first. And that actually, I just literally had that idea about putting a little pencil mark on it, and that is my saving grace right now. Same here, if you've got a little extra there, you can just trim that off of that score line. It'll just make it easier to fold. And we're just going and going. I need some music in here or something. It's so quiet in this condo. Everyone's out enjoying Orlando. The kids are at Universal today. I am getting some work done. I've got some kits I need to make up for some customers. I got a card kit I'm working on. Haven't even started Christmas cards. I think it's just going to be a random cards of what I've been working on. That's what's getting sent out for Christmas. Anybody working on anything? What day is it? Thursday too. Thursday's at 3. So is anybody crafting this weekend? There we go. So that's one. Now we're going to do the same with the other one. So sorry, this is taking a minute. And again, you can literally just look at this. And even before you start cutting, if you've got the long part here, you want the innermost corners right there. The innermost corners to your rectangle. And then start at the short side, cut all the way down, and then cut these pieces off. Hey, Becca, Billy, Jennifer, how you all doing? This is such a cute box. And it's not that it's hard, it's just there's a lot of steps to it. And the box is probably the hardest part, well, remembering where to cut, but I think I just made that easier for everybody, including myself. And then the other hard part is a little flipping mechanism, making sure you've got them on the right spot. But other than that, it's just a little bit more time consuming than like making just a regular box. And again, we'll just trim that a little bit, and we're almost there. And I think actually, in all honesty, the hardest thing for me was folding this box and gluing it together. And I am using the liquid glue, because I think in this case it would just definitely be easiest. Little sliver. It's coming. And we'll get this little bit off there. Okay, almost there. It is chilly in Florida. It's like 65 degrees. Can't even get in the pool. Oh, they do have a hot tub, so I might be getting in that in a little bit after I get my actual work done. Okay. Okay, so we've got the two boxes, and now we've got to put them together. Just ignore all that mess right there. Okay, so we need our glue. Sorry, got a sip of coffee. Okay, so this one, so we don't make a boo-boo, you can actually even leave those dots on there for now, because you want to put the glue not where the dots are, not where you just put those pencil marks. You want to put it on the back of that. This is going to fold into itself. So we're going to put glue on this top one. Let me make sure I'm in frame. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I keep moving over. So you're going to put glue on this top one, and then these are going to be folded in. Touch of glue there. And I think the hardest part is getting this to fold over here. So go over the top, making sure you've got those two tabs tucked between that. Okay. See how we did that? So the two tabs are tucked in the sides. Then get your bone folder and give it a press down. Just let that glue take hold. And then we do the same at the other end. Yeah, do the ends. I was like, am I doing this right? Let's make sure I'm in the right spot. A little bit of glue there. Just a little bit here. And now we need to get this over these tabs. Have the tabs tucked in so you can push them with your fingers there. Push down. And then give it a little bit of a press. And then the sides. Actually, this one was easier. The first time you do it, it's a little finicky, but once you do it a couple times, apparently it gets easier. And then just glue these two sides down. So this is almost like, it's very much like a matchbook. A box of matches, you know, the bottom bit that pulls out. That's what this reminds me of. But it's doing that double edge really makes your box a lot sturdier than just say if you just scored it one time and folded it up. So it makes it nice and sturdy. Can you hear that? Okay, let's do it again. This side, I tell you, putting those little dots there, that's a big help, because when I did this the first time, you know I put the glue on the wrong side. Oh, get in the camera, woman. Okay, here we go. I'm going to fold that over. And it's taken a minute. Like I said, this is not quick. But the next part, this is probably the most tedious. The next part goes together a bit quicker. I kind of put this in sections in the directions. If you look in there, you're going to see I put it in steps. So the first one, I think I did like the boxes and the base. And then the flip mechanisms, which is actually what gives it that back and forth so you can open it from both sides. Then the base, and then the belly band, and then the layers for the belly band. We're almost there. Really make sure you press those down though. You want that nice and neat. And then this side, see you've got just a little bit there. I got some in my nail, gross. A little bit, just cut that little bit edge off. That's just where it was scored. It'll just make this fold in a little better. Okay. We're almost there. Feel like I should fill in the space. Okay, get that one down and that one down. Push it together. Then we're gonna make them conjoined. I don't know why I was thinking I'm gonna make them conjoined twins. They are going to be stuck together. And I guess you could do this. I wonder if you could do this way, but I don't think it would be as fun. Okay, so just kind of make sure that they're lined up and put them on a flat surface. Line them up as best you can. It's not going to be perfect because when you press, you know, one might be a little wider than the other, like they are here. But just let them sit there. And we'll move them to the side. Okay. Now, this part, let me find all the pieces. This is your mechanisms to make them flip open. So, I'm not sure if you can see if I do it this way. You've got a piece of paper that goes this way, then this way, and then the last piece is actually in here. It's hard to, you can't actually open it to show you. It doesn't open both sides at once. It only opens one side at once. Okay, let's show you how it did that. So these two flip mechanism dividers is what they're called. They are 4 5/8 by 2 3/4. And then we're going to want to score them on the long side. So it's the 4 5/8 side. And let's see, we want to do that at 5/8 and 2 5/8. So that's still the 5/8, and then 2 1/2 plus 1/8. So we've got the, where did I put my score tool? Okay. Got the 5/8 and then the 2 5/8, which looks about right, so that's about halfway. And then this one as well. Whoops, went crooked. Don't worry about that. You know, I found if you do that, just get your bone folder and kind of like rub it out if you go a little crooked. And it's going to be glued to the inside of the box, so no one's going to see that anyway. Oh, look, it almost takes it away. If you like accidentally make a mistake, just get your bone folder and give it a little rub. Okay, then we need all our layers. And I used Orchid Oasis, and there's 6 of them. Oh, there's 5 of them. There better be 6. Oh, man. Okay, there's 6. So we have all these cute little pieces. And then we have, and they are all, let me tell you the layers for that. They are 1 7/8 by 2 5/8. And then our DSP layers, which we have 6 of as well, are 1 3/4, nope, yep, 1 3/4 by 2 1/2. That's for the DSP. Now you could do this in another cardstock color, but I use the DSP because I actually stamped on some of it. So looking back to my model, I have one piece that's the DSP and one piece that's the shiny DSP. So I know I need 2 of them glued this way, and the other 4 are going to be stamped. So we're going to stamp them before we put them in, because we've all learnt that the hard way, right? And even, honestly, even if I mess this up, they're still going in because I'm not cutting up more. We'll just fix it later. So the stamps I used, did the little flowers, and these are from the frame florets, and I stamped in Orchid Oasis. And then Happiness Grows Within came from, let me see, it came from Wisteria Wishes stamp set. And the other ones, the Made with a Paper Hug from me and the Made with Love, came from limited edition. Okay, but right now we need, to a friend who knows all kinds of wonderful, to a friend who's all kinds of wonderful. Let's see if I can actually speak English. And Happiness Grows Within. I just think this is such a cute idea. And you can make it for a child, you can make it for, you can make one of these masculine. Like, the possibilities are endless. And I've already stuck that. Okay. Stamp. Oh, I am like squished up against this little table. I'm like sitting on a couch doing this on this little coffee table, and my knees keep getting in the way. So I have to turn because my back's starting to hurt. Okay, but I wanted to make sure that when I say Thursdays at 3, that I am here Thursdays at 3. And I didn't have time to pre-record anything, let's be honest. It doesn't really matter which way you do these, but I'm actually going to do them opposite. You can, here this is all like, just do whatever makes you happy here. Creative freedom. You don't even have to stamp. You can just put DSP, different colors of DSP in here. Whatever makes you happy. Oh, I totally didn't stamp the box first. Whoops. Before you put your boxes together, stamp the insides. I wonder if we can get away with this. Oh, we're going to try. Okay, remember, I make the mistakes so you don't have to. Let's try. This could go terribly wrong right here. You know, if it did, cut out a piece of DSP and pop it down on over top of it. There we go, that works. And then they're actually the same orientation. So can this fit in? Ooh, let me put that on a smaller block, because I think we might be able to get it in with a smaller block here. So even if you goof up, if you get a size, what size is this? A B block, you might be able to make it. Depending on the size of your stamp, obviously. Of course, you don't have to stamp this. It will be covered up by the chocolates. Or the money, or whatever else you want to put in here. So if you're going to put money in here, just roll it up and it'll actually fit in. It's a little blurry. Like I said, we can cover that up later. That's what you'll get if you don't do it in the right order. Okay, we've got that. We've got our bits. Now we're going to glue. Glue, 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 glue. And I did want to walk you through this, like, literally step by step, just so you see everything. Like, the only thing, obviously, I didn't do was cut it in front of you, but I think you're all good with cutting cardstock and DSP. So I wanted to see you all the bits so you know what you're doing and so you don't goof up and forget to stamp before. I will put a disclaimer in my video. Make sure you stamp first. Stop, stamp. And am I moving towards myself again? Okay, why is it getting warm in here? Oh, the afternoon sun is shining right through these windows. And I'm not being too particular about getting it perfect, to be honest, because I'll probably just use this one as my sample. If you have one, then you can always refer back to it. Of course, you can refer back to this video as well. But if you have one already made, it's easy just to look at and see what's what versus trying to scroll back through however long this video takes us to get through. So let's just keep going. We're getting there. Again, you don't have to use stamps here. You can use GSP. I'm thinking of making a by the bay one. I think that would be really cute. So I may have to wait till I get home to get all the colors. I was making up card kits for customers earlier, and you know, I forgot the vellum. So I will be sending that out separately if you ordered with me and you're expecting your card kit. Sorry about that. I thought I had everything. Apparently I did not. This is my first time going on the road, and it was going to on stage and then down to Orlando for a week after that. So trying to remember to bring absolutely everything. Like, I couldn't even fit another person in my car. I had so much stuff. I had so much paper crafting stuff. Okay, so now we've got the bits and we've got the mechanisms. So one is going to go one way. So we're going to have this little part here. This one is going to, that's where it gets confusing, fold up and then fold back. Okay. So, nope, see, I did that the wrong way. This is the part it gets a touch confusing. Okay, so I did that. If you're making it like a chair, okay, a chair is going to be for this way, for the right hand side. I don't know if that's making sense. Let me hold it that way to you. So it's like a chair, and that is going to go on your right hand side. And then the other one is going to go the opposite way. Okay. So I've got, the way I can think of this is there's a tent and there's a chair. So this one is folded, if you've got it flat, fold up, fold down. Okay? This one, if you've got it flat, fold back, fold in. All right, let's go over that again. So when you're looking at this later and you're going, wait, what'd she do? So you've got the two flat ones. You've got your chair and you've got your tent. Seriously, that's how I have to figure this. Let me turn it your way for a second. Let me see. I want to make sure that you're seeing what I'm seeing. So this to me is like it's sitting here. It's like a chair. And this is like a tent. Okay? So we folded down and then in. And then this one we folded up and over. Down and in, up and over. And that's going to make your left and right. So I'm going to have to turn it back. And then this one, you'll see, and check it before you glue it. This one will go at the back of your box, and that way it'll fold down. This one will go at the front of your box. If it sticks in there, is my box too small? And that'll fold down. We see how we're folding them down? So the lid's going to sit on top of here. This is the confusing part. So if you're confused, it's okay. We're going to go back over this again. This one's the top. This one's the bottom. All right. I'm sorry, that sunshine is coming in through the window too. Okay, so before we glue, we want to make sure that we've got all our bits in. And this is why it's good to have one that you can look at and just refer to, so you can remember where you want everything. Because you don't want to put anything on this one here or on this one here. Our lid is going to sit on top of there. You don't want anything on the top. My box is falling apart there. So if we go by this one, we're going to want our flowers here. Sorry, I'm not in the camera again, I'm sure. So we're going to want that. That's when we open it. So it's going to go on the top. And just so that you can double check yourself. Don't put anything here. And you can even put an X. No, because the top is going to go on here. So you can put an X on that and say, no, do not put anything on that part there. Then we know we've got this part here. And we've got the DSP part. So you can put this however you want. Just make sure that your words are going the right way. If you've got sentiments on here, make sure it's all going the same way. It's not going backwards. You want to make sure this goes this way. Goes. I literally read what it said. Okay. So we've got that part there. So if you look at this piece, 3 of the surfaces are covered, 1 is not. All right. And then we're going to do the same with this one, but the opposite way. So we're going to have it facing us, and I think we're going to put the flower in. Is that what I did with this one? Yep. So again, you're going to have 3 of the surfaces covered. This one. And then flip that. And you still want it this way when you're looking at it. I think I did it that way. Yes. Okay. A lot of little steps, but the smiles you are going to get when you give this to someone, and I had to actually tell someone, they open it and they're like, oh, that's cute. And I was like, yeah, there's 2 more chocolates in there. And they're like, wait, what? Where? And then they figured it out. So do make sure you tell someone there's a hidden compartment or something in there, just so that, like, if you send this in the mail or you send it as a gift to someone and you don't see them in person and you have something in that hidden little compartment in the back, they may not get that. And especially if that's cash, you want them to get that. Okay, so when we look at them, you see they're the opposites. And then when you go that way, opposites, okay? So again, before you glue, we're gonna stick this up against this top part, make sure it's reading the right way, fold it over. And I think this needs a little more glue here. It's coming apart. We're gonna put a little bit, you could use double-sided tape here too, might actually be better. Or maybe I just didn't put enough glue. Let me just hold this for a second and let it set. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna make sure we put glue on the correct side. That would be this back side here. And again, you could use double-sided tape here, especially since this is gonna get open and closed a lot. But I am just using this. And the back of that will go into the back of this box. And again, I want to press it down, make sure it's all in there nice and neat. So that folds down and over. And then this one, we're going to put the glue on the front of this little flap. So that part, always just double check it before you put it in to make sure you've got it in the right spot. And you can just lift it like that and squish it down. And there you go. Whoops, push it all the way in. Let that sit there and dry for a second. Now we're gonna grab our layers. And our layers are, we've got a top and a bottom. So the bottom is just a single layer. And if you wanted, you could like double this up. See how I did say, remember it doesn't really, don't just throw it in a bag because it might get a little squished on the end. So if you wanted to use like 2 pieces of cardstock or use a thin chipboard or something, you could do that too with the base. I would definitely not use that with this mechanism part because it's just gonna be too thick. But if you want to do it with the base or something, you definitely could. So the bases, you've got a top and a bottom, and they are 5 7/8 by 2 1/4. And then I did do some layering for the top, as you can see with the Orchid Oasis, and that is 2 1/8 by 5 3/4. And then I did some DSP, and that is 2 inches by 5 5/8. And again, all those measurements are in the description. So these, we're just going to quickly layer these 3 together. Simple, we like simple, and doesn't have to be fancy. Like, I don't consider this very fancy at all. You could really step it up, especially the belly band. I've made it very simple, but you could really step it up if you wanted to. And that should just be like 1/8 of an inch. And again, when I use the liquid glue, just line that up as best I can. Does not have to be perfect because they're going to be oohing and ahhing about this little secret compartment. It did bring smiles to the faces of the people I gave it to. So, and then we showed a couple of people at the table and they were like, "Oh, we love this." I said, "I know. I am so glad I found it." I know I was sitting in bed one night thinking, what am I going to make for gifts for on stage? And I was just going through Pinterest, and which led me to that YouTube video by Frenchie. And someone on her team, I think her name was Dawn. I think the name of the video, if you want to see Frenchie's video, is Dawn's Magic Box. And I just call it a magic box. Because I wasn't sure if it was actually Dawn or not. I was like, she didn't sound 100% positive. Okay, so now we're going to take this bottom bit. We're just going to put glue all over it. So bringing it all together now. And don't obsess too much as to how centered this is. But again, that's another reason for using the liquid. Do your best just to center it on this paper while keeping the box together. So, oops, don't worry if you squish it in a little bit like I just did. I try to line it up as best I could. It's not perfect. One end might be a little bigger than the other end. Don't worry about it. Just make it as best as you can. Actually, that looks pretty dang good. So again, we've got this side and we've got this side. Now to bring it all together, I'm just making sure they're squished in. We're gonna take our top piece. We're gonna put, this is where you don't want it to go inside the box. I'm going to put glue over this top piece. And then glue over this piece. And then you're literally just going to plop it on top and hope for the best. There we go. Just right on top, and then quickly flip it over and then line it up as best you can to make it as even as you can. So it's kind of even. Does not have to be perfect. It is not going to be perfect, and it doesn't matter. There you go. And then just give that a nice little press. Okay, we've just got the belly band left. So now we see, we might want to just let that sit for a second. Definitely let that sit for a second. I might actually press this. I'm not liking what's happening there. Okay. I tried to open it too quickly. Oh no, it's fine. Okay. I thought, oh no, I thought it was sticking. I thought I got too much glue somewhere. So, there's our box. So if we look, let me turn it up the right way for you. And it is, mine's sticking just a little bit there. So I need to press that top part down. That's what the problem was. So make sure that's all nice and glued down before you start playing with it. I probably should have let it sit for a minute before playing with it. Okay, so they're opening it this way and then opening it that way. Okay, so you've got the fun little spots. Isn't that, it's fun. It's so much fun just doing it. Anything that moves, I think, in paper crafting is just, it's fun to play with. And then we have got a belly band that we're gonna wrap around, and that's this part here. And again, I made mine very, very simple and easy. We like easy. The belly band length is 6 3/4 by 2. And I'm using the DSP. You can, if you want to use cardstock, you can use cardstock. Sorry, just had to get a sip of coffee. And you are going to want to score this too. So let's get the scoring tool back out. It's my best friend for this. Make sure I'm in the frame there. And let's get our layers, our score lines, and that is going to be 1 1/8. Now, obviously, I had this all written down. There's no way I could remember all this. Not with my memory. 1 1/8. And we've got 1 7/8, which is the little tab right before the 2. And then we've got 4 1/8 and 4 7/8. So we can go 4 1/8 and 4 7/8. There. And we're going to stick that belly band in there. And, oh, I'm folding the wrong way. Let's do this the right way. The reason I turned it is because the bumpy side is going to be on the other side, and that's the side I want to fold. And you'll know if the score lines are wrong, because when you go to wrap it around the box, it won't fit. How do I know this? I did that. Okay. And you know, all I did was I rubbed out the score line and redid it, like I showed you earlier. So that's the last thing we need to score. And this is DSP, so this is actually quite a thick DSP because it's got the foil backing to it. But if you're using a regular DSP, just make sure you're not too rough with it, because DSP obviously is not as strong as our regular cardstock. So you want to wrap this around. You do not want to do it so snug that you're not going to be able to move it, okay? So one way to do it is just loosen it a little bit and then just check it while you have it in your hand and make sure that that slides. So then you can just open one side up, put a little bit of glue here and just put that down. And again, even while it's just sitting there, just give it a check real quick. Make sure it's all good to go. Because it'd be no fun if they can't get into it without ripping the paper. See how it's snug, but it's not really tight? It's just snug. You don't want it falling off, but you want it so you can move it. Then you can literally decorate this band any way you choose. Obviously, I just stayed in keeping with my little on-stage theme here. I just got my Orchid Oasis piece in my Petal Pink, and these pieces, I call these band layers. We've got, did I do them the opposite way? I may have done these wrong. No, this one, Orchid, okay, I've got them backwards. I'm gonna fix that in the directions. The Orchid Oasis is actually the larger piece, and that is 4 3/8 by 1 1/2. And then we've got the 4 1/4 by 1 3/8. And I don't know why I have the DSP. I don't know what I've done. Oh, I know what I've done. Gosh, I was like, I should have another piece of DSP here to cut this. So it's the Orchid Oasis. I did these backwards. See, this one is the Petal Pink first and then the Orchid Oasis. That's what I've made a boo-boo with. And apparently I did not cut that last piece of DSP, so we're gonna pretend that it's there. And then all you will do, so the measurements are all the same, just in this one it's backwards. This is, if you look on the, if you look on my directions, it's gonna say the Petal Pink here is 4 3/8 by 1 1/2. Then the Orchid Oasis layer is 4 1/4 by 1 3/8. And then this DSP layer that I've stamped on is 4 1/8 by 1 1/4. Okay, so that's the 3 band layers, and that's what I've done there. And then obviously I did this one backwards because I wasn't paying attention. Fancy that. So we're just going to pretend I was, and that I have a piece of DSP here. You know what? We could just stamp straight on that. Let's just do that. We can always go over it later. Just get this little stamp. So lucky to call you friend. Of course, you can put anything you want on the front of here, or nothing at all. You don't need to put a sentiment. And we'll get that small little flower stamp. And we'll just pop it in here. There we go. It's not a mistake, it's just a different way of doing it. There we go. And the one thing, well, I guess it doesn't matter because you always take the band off and put it back on the right way. So I'm gonna put this on. See if I can get it back on. This is what happens if you get it too snug. It might be a little bit tight going back on. There we go. So to make sure that I've got my my sentiment all lined up, I'm going to center this belly band, make sure it's good to go. Then I'm going to center this. That gives it a nice pop. I think that turned out okay. And then just using my fingers basically is like, okay, about there. And we're just going to go in the center and not too far over. And then put that down. Try to get it centered as best you can. And there you go. So it changes just by like changing up the band. You can change the look of it, change the colors. This one actually pops a little more, so I don't hate it. There you go. That is the magic box, and I hope you love it. Yes. Oh, that's so wonderful. It's Anne said it's a great way to a great idea for the support workers who look after her son. That is fantastic. Yeah, I mean, if I would not just make this box for anyone, that's for sure. It is, you know, a little involved. If you're going to make more than one, obviously batch it, do it, you know, all at once, make an assembly line. But I hope you love it. And then you put chocolates in it. There were 4. I ate one because it's chocolate. So the Ghirardelli fits perfectly. The little Hershey's fit perfectly. And money fits in here perfectly too. So I really like it. I thought it was so much fun, and a big shout out to Frenchie for sharing that. Oh, here's one. I have one from the other box. And yeah, I hope you all love it, and I can't wait to see what you guys make. I want to see your variations of it, and go ahead and post that on my Linked by Ink page. I would love to see it. I hope you love it, guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.